Hey YouTube, what's going on? I'm gonna get right to the point here on this one because I'm gonna try to keep this brief. Um, but I would really like to hear what you guys like think I should do about all this. Um, Obviously, I'm gonna do what I decide to do, but I still would like to hear from you guys, all my fellow filmmaker subscribers. As you can see, my Alexa took the codex drive off of it. It's just back in its case. I didn't sell the codex or anything. I still have it. But I've whittled this down to, its kind of internal recording, basic kind of stock appearance. It's as an Alexa usually looks. It doesn't have all these different peripherals and monitors and shit all on it. It's just the Alexa and a lens and a follow focus system and like the viewfinder. That's it. The one thing that I really absolutely fucking hate about the codex, which I had a feeling that I would, is how much weight it adds to my camera. The way that my Alexa was built in the last vlog, where it had the codex and everything attached to it, it was literally like 2 or 3 points under 40 pounds. Like it was a pig. And cameras like that are not meant to be handheld. They're not meant to go on your shoulder even. And if they do, it's for a very short period of time. You either need some sort of a fly cam system or you need to have the camera on in a kind of a studio configuration on a tripod or some sort of a support system where it's not taxing, yourself. The Alexa built this way, while it's still heavy, it's manageable in the handheld world. Like this camera as it's sitting right here is, a little over 20 pounds. It's not crazy, crazy heavy when it comes to cameras of this size. But when you add the codecs and you add all that other stuff, it got stupid heavy. And so what I am trying to do, and this is where I would like to hear some of my fellow film subscribers' opinions, um, is convert this camera to an XR Alexa. And those of you that don't know what the fuck that means, it would essentially mean I would have to replace two pieces of this camera. Um, the S by S panel right here would go away. And then directly behind this whole front panel lies a logic board called the ACOM board. And the ACOM board is the first board that you see when you take this faceplate off, and it has a little ribbon cable that attaches to the media compartment right here. Now, the XR module would effectively turn my Alexa Plus into an Alexa XT Plus. Now, what does that do? I would no longer be able to use S by S media straight to the camera. I'd have to get an adapter if I wanted to do that. I'd still have access to S by S capabilities, but I'd have to get a little adapter. Or I could use codex capture drives that would slide right into here and would allow me to shoot internal ARRI RAW. So I could effectively get the codex architecture that I've gotten used to with the onboard recorder that mounts to the top of my camera here, and the full capacity of ARRI RAW, um, but with the same weight. Like, I don't have to add any extra weight to the camera or wires or cables in order to do that. Um, I've looked into it and the process is relatively simple. While it's not a it's not something that ARRI has ever recommended that the end user does. It's something that you would then take your, the pieces and the camera to them, and then they would do it for you, and you'd have to pay them a fee for their time. Um, I do have a little bit of technician experience under my belt working at the rental house that I worked at in Chicago almost a decade ago. I did some minor repairs and stuff here and there. I've obviously Those of you that have been following me for a long time know that I've taken apart Sony F900s, taped Varicams, various cameras, um, modified them, tweaked them, calibrated them, whatever. And so this is no different. And it's just a matter of tracking down, which I have, a another Alexa camera that is an XT that has all the pieces I need for it. That is in a basically for parts are not working condition, where the boards are intact, but I'm not, paying what you would pay for an Alexa like that. I'm only paying, 100, $200, something like that. So I have all my ducks in a row here, and it's a matter of whether or not I want to go through with it and give it a try. Um, the worst case scenario is it doesn't end up working. I'm not going to brick my camera or anything. I at least have enough intelligence around technician stuff where I'm not worried about bricking my working Alexa here. Um, but worst case scenario is the board just doesn't read and the firmware can't flash correctly, and it ends up being something where it's like, okay, well, I can't, even with my little bit of education working internally in cameras, I can't do this. This would have to be something sent to ARRI, which then I probably wouldn't end up doing it, and I would just hold on to that other Alexa for like superficial repairs, like if I need to change, one of these buttons or one of the plates, or like that kind of stuff. Um, but it's an idea. It's something that I was thinking about, and it's very inexpensive, and all it takes is courage and patience on my part, I guess. So I wanted to hear from you guys to see what you think. Do you think I should go ahead and do this? Do you think this would also be something that you would be interested in watching me do? Because if I do go through with it, I was playing with the idea of making a video out of it, or even live streaming it, just coming here and we would just we do it live. So yeah, I guess that's it. But I was very intrigued on the possibility of getting the image quality and all the stuff that I've grown to love from the Codex onboard recorder, and being able to very almost inexpensively get that horsepower directly into my camera so that I don't have these cables everywhere. I don't have the added weight on top of the camera. And I can literally just upgrade my camera to effectively an XT, which would be kind of crazy. Although I wouldn't have 4:3 capability, my camera is would forever be in 16:9, because my Alexa Plus does not have a 4:3 sensor. Whereas all XT cameras, if memory serves me, come out of the box with 4:3 sensors. And one of the things, just for those of you out there that are unaware of this, when people talk about, well, my Alexa has a 16:9 sensor 4:3, those people, like, it's the exact same sensor. The difference is how it was quality controlled and how it was flashed in order to read. So my camera, my camera's sensor has the ability of becoming a 4:3 sensor if I gave my camera to ARRI and I told them, hey, unlock this, like re-quality control my sensor so it'll allow me to do that, and reflash all the boards, it'll do that. um it's a limit. It's not that the sensor itself is different, it's just the limitations of what the hardware and software inside the camera allow the sensor to do. ARRI used the same sensor in their cameras for a very, very, very long time. The difference in resolution and aspect ratio comes solely down to software and hardware. But the sensor itself is the exact same thing. So, unless, I mean, well, for Super 35, so like the Alexa XT has the same sensor that my Alexa has. It's just operating it differently. I think that makes sense, right? But then you get into other cameras like, the Alexa LF and stuff like that. Like, it's the same sensor technology, but now they're kind of like soldering multiple sensors onto one thing to make the field of view bigger. But the ALLI V3 sensor was used across so many different generations of the Alexa, and the differentiating factors in each camera comes down to the software and hardware, but the sensor block is the fucking same. So the more you know, right? So yeah, so that's my idea. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if it would be one that if I did pursue it would be a successful one, but it seems like it's a fairly straightforward thing, at least for me, where you got to replace two parts out of the camera. Uh, then once those are installed correctly, you have to boot the Alexa on, let it read it, realize that like it'll become aware of the other board, but it won't recognize it right away because the firmware that's currently running in my Alexa can't read that board and the codex reader. But it should unlock the ability to be able to flash my camera to the XT firmware or XR firmware, whatever you want to call it. You just need to have those boards in there so they can be recognized, and that kind of like unlocks and allows you to flash the firmware into the camera so that it can read things correctly. It seems like a very convoluted thing. It's not as bad as I'm probably making it out to be, but there are some gray areas here in terms of one of the things, like I just said, once I have those other pieces installed in this camera, will it allow me to have the camera recognize the proper firmware? Because I tried seeing if my camera in its current state could see that the X version of the firmware, and in the card it could not find it. It couldn't see it, but it saw its own version of that firmware. So that makes me think, okay, is there a step here that is not accessible to me that I'm not seeing or hearing about, to where I get this other Alexa, I put the board in, I put the codex thing in there, but yet it still won't read the firmware, because without the firmware, the camera's not going to be able to read that new ACOM board, and it's not going to be able to read the codex board. It needs that firmware flashed in there. But if it's stuck in this mental state of, well, I'm something else, then maybe there's something that ARRI does have to do that I'm incapable of doing to unlock the camera to be able to be like, no, you can put this firmware in there. I don't know. So that's why I'm saying worst case scenario, it becomes a superficial external part camera. Best case scenario, I get this whole thing fucking working the way I want to. But let me know in the comments below if you think this is a worthwhile venture for me, or if you think I should just enjoy my Alexa as it is and let it be. So anyway, I hope you guys are all doing good. I hope you had a good holiday, as I said before, and 2026 is amazing for all of us. Let's hope. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So you guys have a good first full week of 2026. Holy fuck. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.